Today, we discuss a haunting tale that has perplexed the world for nearly 2 decades, the disappearance of Natalee Holloway. Born in Memphis, Natalee was a bright and accomplished young woman with a promising future ahead of her. However, her life took a tragic turn during a graduation trip to Aruba in 2005. What was meant to be a celebration of academic achievement turned into an enigmatic mystery that continues to baffle investigators and the public alike. In this video, we chronicle the events leading up to Natalee's disappearance, the subsequent investigations, and the twists and turns that have unfolded over the years. From the initial search efforts to the involvement of key individuals like Joran Sloot, we will provide a comprehensive overview of the case. Join us as we delve into the intricate details of this tragic story, seeking to understand the truth behind Natalee Holloway's fate. Before we go forward, please give the video a like and hit the subscribe button. That really helps the channel out. Natalee Holloway, born on October 21, 1986 in Memphis, Tennessee, was the first child of David and Beth Holloway. She had a younger brother named Matthew. Following her parents' divorce in 1993, Natalee and Matthew were primarily raised by their mother. In 2000, Beth married George Twitty, a prominent Alabama businessman. The family then relocated to Mountain Brook, Alabama, a vibrant suburb of Birmingham. Beth took her new husband's last name, while David Holloway went on to marry again and welcome 2 more children into his life. Natalee was an exceptional student at Mountain Brook High School, known for her brightness and popularity. She actively participated in the National Honor Society, dance squad, and student government. Her involvement extended to her church and various volunteer activities. With an avid interest in exploring different cultures, she also had a deep passion for travel. On May 24, 2005, Natalee graduated with honors from high school, having earned a full scholarship to the University of Alabama, where she planned to pursue pre-med studies. In celebration of her graduation, Natalee embarked on a trip to Aruba, a Caribbean paradise famous for its beaches and lively nightlife. This excursion was organized by a reputable travel agency and closely supervised by 7 chaperones. Natalee and her friends stayed at the Holiday Inn Hotel in the Palm Beach area of Aruba. Aruba, a picturesque island nation in the Caribbean Sea, is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Having a population of about 106,000 people, it's renowned for its sunny climate, pristine white sand beaches, and richly diverse culture. Aruba is widely acknowledged as a safe haven for both locals and visitors. According to the United States Department of State, the island maintains a comparatively low crime rate in comparison to many other Caribbean destinations. Violent incidents are rare, and the homicide rate falls significantly below the global average. Furthermore, Aruba provides a dedicated tourist assistance program offering complimentary legal, medical, and psychological aid to travelers facing difficulties during their stay. On May 30, 2005, the final day of the trip, Natalee and her friends visited Carlos and Charlie's, a popular restaurant and nightclub in Oranjestad, Aruba's capital. The last sighting of Natalee was around 1:30 a.m., leaving the club with Joran Sloot, a Dutch national, and his 2 Surinamese companions, Deepak and Satish Kalpoe. The 3 men maintained they dropped Natalee off at her hotel, professing ignorance regarding her whereabouts thereafter. Joran Sloot, born on August 6, 1987, in Arnhem, the Netherlands, is the eldest son of Paulus Sloot, a lawyer, and Anita Sloot-Hugen, an art teacher. In 1990, his family relocated to Aruba, where he attended the International School of Aruba, distinguishing himself as an honor student and accomplished athlete. Sloot developed a passion for gambling and poker at a young age. He frequented casinos and online gambling sites, often using a fake ID and lying about his age. He also had a reputation for being a womanizer and a liar, who often bragged about his sexual exploits and wealth. In 2005, Sloot graduated from high school and planned to study business and law in the Netherlands. He also hoped to pursue a career as a professional poker player. Sloot met Satish and Deepak Kalpoe through their mutual interest in gambling and poker. The Kalpoe brothers, who were born in Suriname and moved to Aruba with their family, worked at an internet cafe where Sloot often played online poker. They also frequented casinos and nightclubs together, where they met tourists and local women. Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers met Natalie Holloway at a casino in Aruba on May 29, 2005. Sloot invited her and her friends to join him to go to Carlos and Charlie's. Holloway never returned to her hotel room or boarded her flight back home the next day. Her packed bags and passport were found in her Holiday Inn room. Despite extensive initial searches by authorities across the island and its surrounding waters, she remained missing. Following Natalie's missed flight, her mother and stepfather, along with friends, swiftly chartered a private jet to Aruba. Within hours of landing, Natalie's parents provided Aruban police with the name and address of Joran Sloot, the last person seen with Natalie. Natalie's mother, Beth Twitty, learned Sloot's full name from the Holiday Inn's night manager, who recognized him on a videotape. Together with the police, Natalie's parents and their friends went to the Sloot residence in search of Natalie. Initially denying knowledge of Natalie's name, Sloot later recounted a story corroborated by Deepak Kalpoe, who was also present. According to Sloot, they had taken Natalie to the California lighthouse area of Arashi Beach to see sharks, dropping her off at her hotel around 2 a.m. He claimed Natalie fell as she exited the car, but declined his assistance. As they drove away, Natalie was approached by a dark man in a black shirt resembling a security guard. Search and rescue efforts mobilized hundreds of volunteers from Aruba and the United States. The Aruban government even granted thousands of civil servants time off to aid the rescue mission. Dutch Marines combed the shoreline, and local banks raised $20,000 to support search teams. Surveillance footage from the hotel lobby didn't capture Natalie, and conflicting statements arose about the functionality of the cameras. The search for physical evidence yielded occasional false leads, such as a possible blood sample from Deepak Kalpoe's car, which turned out to be unrelated. Early on, American law enforcement collaborated closely with local authorities. U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice confirmed ongoing communication, and a State Department official noted substantial resources devoted to the case. On June 5th, Aruban police apprehended Nick John and Abraham Jones, former security guards from the nearby Allegro Hotel, suspecting them of murder and kidnapping. The exact grounds for their arrests were never officially disclosed, but statements made by Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers might have played a role. Reports also suggested that these ex-guards were known for trying to pick up women around hotels, and one of them had a previous encounter with law enforcement. However, John and Jones were released on June 13th without charges. On June 9th, Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers were arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and murdering Holloway. Aruban law permits arrests based on serious suspicion, but to continue holding a suspect, an increasing burden of evidence must be met through periodic reviews. The investigation primarily focused on these 3 suspects from the outset, and close surveillance of them began 3 days after Holloway was reported missing. This involved wiretaps, email monitoring, and physical surveillance. Police Commissioner Gerald Dompig, who headed the investigation from mid-2005 until 2006, would later reveal that pressure from Holloway's family prompted the police to prematurely detain the 3. As the investigation progressed, David Cruz, spokesman for the Aruban Minister of Justice, incorrectly claimed on June 11th that Holloway was deceased and that authorities knew the location of her body. He later retracted the statement, citing a misinformation campaign. Dompig alleged to the Associated Press that one of the detained young men had confessed that something bad happened to Holloway after they took her to the beach, However, the prosecution neither confirmed nor denied the allegation. On June 17th, a sixth person, identified as disc jockey Steve Gregory Crows, was arrested based on information from one of the other detainees. On June 22nd, Aruban police detained Vandersloot's father, Paulus Vandersloot, for questioning, and he was arrested the same day. Both Paulus and Crows were ordered to be released on June 26th. During this period, the detained suspects changed their stories, with all three claiming that Vandersloot and Holloway were dropped off at the Marriott Hotel Beach. Vandersloot stated he didn't harm Holloway, but left her there. Following hearings, the Kalpoe brothers were released on July 4th, while Vandersloot was detained for an additional 60 days. On July 4th, the Royal Netherlands Air Force deployed 3 F-16 aircraft equipped with infrared sensors in the search for Natalee Holloway, but unfortunately, no significant leads were uncovered. In March 2006, it was reported that they were cross-referencing satellite images with recent photographs, likely taken from the F-16s, hoping to spot any unusual changes in the landscape that might indicate Holloway's burial site. Following a tip from a local gardener, a pond near the Aruba Racket Club, close to the Marriott Hotel Beach, was partially drained between July 27th and 30th, 2005. This gardener claimed to have seen Joran Vandersloot trying to conceal his face as he entered the racket club with the Kalpoe brothers on the early morning of May 30th between 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. Another individual, referred to as the Jogger, asserted that on the afternoon of May 30th, he witnessed men burying a blonde-haired woman in a landfill. Despite previous searches of the landfill, this lead prompted 3 more thorough searches, aided by FBI cadaver dogs, yet they yielded no results. Initially, Natalee's family offered $175,000 for her safe return, with donors chipping in an additional $50,000. 2 months later, the reward skyrocketed to $1 million, which included $100,000 specifically for information leading to the discovery of her remains. In August 2005, the reward for information about Natalee's corpse surged from $100,000 to $250,000. The FBI received extensive documentation, suspect interviews, and other evidence from Aruban authorities. Among the findings was a piece of duct tape with strands of blonde hair. While initially sent to a Dutch lab for testing, the samples were later re-evaluated at the FBI Central Laboratory in Virginia. Ultimately, it was determined that the hair did not belong to Holloway. Despite various leads and shifts in the investigation, no substantial progress was made. David Holloway eventually co-authored a book titled Aruba, The Tragic Untold Story of Natalee Holloway and Corruption in Paradise in April 2006, chronicling the exhaustive search for his daughter. Upon Aruba's request, the Netherlands assumed control of the investigation. In September, a team from the Dutch National Police, armed with extensive case files, commenced their work. On April 16, 2007, a joint Aruban-Dutch task force resumed the investigation on the island. In April 2007, Vandersloot co-authored a book titled The Case of Natalee Holloway. The book offers Vandersloot's account of the night Holloway vanished and the ensuing media frenzy. While he admits to and expresses regret for his initial dishonesty, he continues to assert his innocence. On April 27th, approximately 20 investigators initiated a new search at the Vandersloot family residence in Aruba. Dutch authorities meticulously combed through the yard and its vicinity, employing shovels and thin metal rods for thorough examination. The prosecution clarified that the investigation had persisted and Dutch authorities were comprehensively reviewing the case for potential leads. The decision for a more extensive search was grounded in compelling indications. Although investigators did not specify the catalyst for the new search, they affirmed it was unrelated to Vandersloot's book. During the search, nothing suspicious was discovered according to Paulus van der Sloot. The only items seized were diary entries belonging to him and his wife, along with his personal computer, which was later returned. Aruba's Diario newspaper revealed that investigators were delving into early suspect interrogations regarding communication between the Kalpoe brothers and van der Sloot. Additionally, investigators were observed scrutinizing a laptop at the residence. On May 12th, the Kalpoe family residence underwent scrutiny by authorities. The brothers briefly contested the entry of police and Dutch investigators, leading to their temporary detention. They were released when the authorities departed. The brothers' objection stemmed from the absence of a justifying order for the intrusion. A subsequent statement from the prosecutor's office in Aruba clarified that the visit aimed to gain a better understanding of the site and circumstances potentially linked to the offense, as well as to grasp the sequence of events surrounding it. In a surprising turn, investigators from Aruba reapprehended van der Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers on November 21, 2007, suspecting them of involvement in manslaughter and causing serious bodily harm resulting in the death of Holloway. While van der Sloot was detained in the Netherlands by Dutch authorities, the Kalpoe brothers were held in Aruba. Van der Sloot was subsequently returned to Aruba and incarcerated. Following this development, Dave Holloway launched a renewed search for his daughter, venturing into the sea beyond the initial 330-foot depths probed in earlier efforts. This endeavor, carried out using a vessel named the Persistence, was discontinued in late February 2008 due to financial constraints, yielding no significant discoveries. On November 30th, a judge ordered the release of the Kalpoe brothers, despite efforts by the prosecution to prolong their detention. The release was executed the next day. The prosecution sought to contest this decision, but on December 5th, the court affirmed, stating that the evidence did not directly indicate Natalie's demise as a result of a violent crime. Subsequently, van der Sloot was discharged without charges on December 7th, as there was insufficient evidence linking him to a violent crime leading to Holloway's death. The prosecution expressed its decision not to appeal. Aruban prosecutor Hans Moos formally closed the case on December 18th, asserting that no charges would be filed due to lack of evidence, while the prosecution maintained interest in van der Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers, who were no longer considered suspects. They alleged that one of the three had, in a chat room message, indicated Holloway's demise. However, this claim was vigorously contested by Deepak Kalpoe's attorney, who argued that the prosecution had misinterpreted a reference to a news story about a drowned teacher as a mention of Holloway. On January 31, 2008, a special Dutch television program was scheduled for February 3rd, which promised to reveal the truth behind Natalie's disappearance. The following day, Dutch media reported that van der Sloot had made a confession regarding Holloway's disappearance. However, he later retracted, stating he had told the person what they wanted to hear and denied any involvement. The program aired on February 3rd, 2008, featuring hidden camera footage and audio recordings in the vehicle of Patrick van der Eem, a Dutch businessman and ex-convict who gained van der Sloot's trust. In the recording, van der Sloot claimed to have been with Holloway when she fell ill and eventually unresponsive. He asserted he tried unsuccessfully to revive her. Van der Sloot further mentioned he contacted a friend for help, who then disposed of the body. This friend, referred to as Durie, later denied these claims. The Aruban prosecutor's office sought an arrest warrant based on the recordings, but it was denied by a judge. The prosecutor appealed, yet on February 14th, the appeal was rejected. The court found the statements on the tape inconsistent with existing evidence. On February 8th, van der Sloot met with Aruban investigators in the Netherlands, maintaining that his statements on the tape were influenced by drugs and that he had left Holloway on the beach. In November 2008, van der Eem was secretly taped after an interview for Aruban television, where he disclosed details that contradicted his earlier statements. He claimed to have known van der Sloot for years and expected to profit substantially from the Holloway case. He also stated that van der Sloot had asked him for money to buy someone's silence. In December 2008, van der Eem was arrested in the Netherlands for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend and fleeing police recklessly. In a subsequent interview with Fox News in November 2008, van der Sloot made sensational claims about selling Holloway into sexual slavery, implicating his father in covering it up. However, he later retracted these statements. Despite various twists and claims, the case remained unresolved. In March 2009, Dave Holloway conducted a search in Aruba based on a witness's information about a possible location for Natalie's remains. In February 2010, van der Sloot claimed he disposed of Holloway's body in a marsh on Aruba, but authorities dismissed it due to inconsistencies. In March 2010, underwater searches were conducted based on reports of possible skeletal remains, but no conclusive evidence was found. On March 29, 2010, van der Sloot contacted John Q. Kelly, Beth Twitty's legal representative, offering to disclose Holloway's burial site and the circumstances of her death for an advance payment of $25,000, part of a total $250,000 deal. After notifying the FBI, they orchestrated the transaction. On May 10th, van der Sloot received a $15,000 wire transfer coupled with $10,000 in cash recorded by undercover agents in Aruba. However, the information he provided was false. The house he mentioned hadn't even been built when Holloway vanished. On June 3rd, he was charged with extortion and wire fraud in the U.S. District Court of Northern Alabama. U.S. Attorney Joyce White Vance obtained an arrest warrant and alerted Interpol. On June 30th, van der Sloot was formally indicted. Responding to the U.S. Justice Department's request, authorities conducted a June 4th raid, seizing items from 2 homes in the Netherlands. One of these residences belonged to a reporter who claimed knowledge of van der Sloot's criminal activities. Aruban investigators, using intel from the extortion case, initiated a new search at a beach, yet no fresh evidence emerged. Dave Holloway returned to Aruba on June 14th to pursue potential leads. On May 30th, 2010, exactly 5 years after Holloway vanished, Stephany Flores Ramirez, a 21-year-old business student, was reported missing in Lima, Peru. Tragically, she was discovered deceased 3 days later in a hotel room registered under van der Sloot's name. On June 3rd, van der Sloot was apprehended in Chile on a murder charge and promptly extradited to Peru. 4 days later, Peruvian authorities disclosed that van der Sloot had confessed to the killing. He explained that he lost his temper when Flores accessed his laptop without consent and found links to the Holloway case. Although van der Sloot claimed knowledge of Holloway's whereabouts and offered to assist Aruban authorities, the interrogation focused solely on the Peruvian case. Subsequently, on June 11th, van der Sloot faced charges of first-degree murder and robbery in Lima's Superior Court. In a significant development, Aruban and Peruvian authorities established cooperation, allowing investigators from Aruba to interview van der Sloot in Peruvian jail. In a September 2010 interview, van der Sloot purportedly confessed to the extortion attempt, expressing his desire to retaliate against Natalie's family, citing 5 years of difficulty caused by them. Then, on January 11, 2012, van der Sloot pleaded guilty to Flores's murder and was sentenced to 28 years behind bars. In June 2011, 6 years after Natalie's disappearance, Dave Holloway sought legal declaration of his daughter's death in an Alabama court. His ex-wife, Beth Twitty, intended to contest. On September 23, 2011, a hearing took place. Judge Alan King subsequently affirmed Dave Holloway's fulfillment of the criteria for presumption of death. On January 12, 2012, a second hearing occurred, leading to Judge King issuing the official order declaring Natalie Holloway deceased. On November 12, 2010, tourists discovered a jawbone near the Phoenix Hotel in Aruba. Initial examination revealed it belonged to a young woman. Part of the bone was sent to the Netherlands for testing. On November 23, 2010, Aruba Solicitor General Taco Stein announced that based on dental records, the jawbone wasn't Holloway's, and its gender couldn't be determined. In 2016, Dave Holloway hired investigator T.J. Ward to re-examine evidence. An informant, Gabriel, claimed John Ludwig, a close friend of Vander Sloot's, knew what happened to Natalie. In an interview with Oxygen, Gabriel detailed the night of Natalie's disappearance. Oxygen aired a documentary series on August 19, 2017. Using Gabriel's information, they found what seemed to be human bones. DNA testing on October 3, 2017, confirmed one piece was human, but not Natalie's. In February 2018, Beth Twitty sued the producers, alleging the claims were fictional and damaging. She said she wasn't informed about the show when providing a DNA sample. In March 2018, Ludwig was fatally stabbed by a woman he attempted to abduct. On June 8, 2023, Joran Vander Sloot was extradited from Peru, where he was serving a 28-year sentence for Stephany Flores Ramirez's 2010 murder, to the U.S. He landed at Birmingham's Shuttlesworth Airport around 2:30 p.m. Upon arrival, he was taken into U.S. custody and brought to Hoover City Jail. The next day, he was arraigned in Birmingham's federal court on charges of extortion and wire fraud against Beth Twitty, Natalie's mother. He pleaded not guilty to both charges. On October 18, 2023, Vander Sloot confessed in a proffer letter to killing Holloway. He admitted to assaulting her with a cinder block after she rebuffed his advances and then disposed of her body in the ocean. Throughout the investigation, the Twitty family and their supporters criticized the apparent lack of progress by Aruban police, with accusations that they stifled potential evidence regarding Holloway's character. The Twitty family denied these allegations. Beth Twitty claimed that Vander Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers concealed information about Holloway's disappearance and alleged sexual assault or rape. Beth Twitty founded the International Safe Travels Foundation and established the Natalie Holloway Resource Center. Initially opposed to a travel boycott of Aruba, the family later supported it due to safety concerns. This led to a contentious situation with the government of Aruba and sparked political involvement, although federal backing was absent. The boycott faced opposition from various quarters, including some members of Alabama's congressional delegation and tourism entities in Aruba. They formed a communications task force to counter negative portrayals of the island. Have you been following the Natalie Holloway case? What did you think about the investigation by the Aruban authorities? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Till next time, signing off. This has been Christina.